one of my mentors in the past, he had told me, whenever you have the opportunity to do something different, you should always try. Like in the beginning, it's like try like hotel, try events, try Michelin, try this, and try each thing, and then figure out which one you actually like. And I'm still doing that. Cheers.
Cheers.
So today's dinner, you guys been to my restaurant, but it's fucking comfort Korean food. We got a Asian sauce, so it's like Thai flavor. So fish sauce, plum sugar, slaw with cucumber, carrots, cotija cheese, potato fries.
Cotija.
Cotija, sorry. And then
Okay.
cauliflower kebab fried chicken, and then just regular fried chicken.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you to come to the Hungry Hungarian Chefs TV. This is number 2. It's lovely to have you guys to come together. Right now we have Lenny from Overlord, now the head chefs, and Anthony. Now you're at
The group chef for Big Cat Group.
for Big Cat Group.
Big
So
Cat Group.
previously you just finished at Mikado.
Yep.
You guys used to work together, right?
Yeah, we've actually worked together for over 5 years in
Over
three
5
different
years.
countries.
3
Wow.
countries.
Yeah.
It's like bromance,
Italy,
man.
New York, and Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm from New York.
New York, and you're from
New Jersey, yep.
Maybe just share with us a little bit about your background first, Lenny.
Cooking for me was kind of just embedded in my life. My parents were always cooking at home. But my mom would get like farmers to drop off vegetables to the house, and like we would just always cook. It was like always family meal, family dinner at 6 o'clock every night. You had to be home.
Wow.
Brothers, sisters, everybody came back just for that. My grandma was cooking. My grandfather had pizzerias.
Is your profession now a calling then?
A calling? I don't know.
How did you start? How did you stumble into or deciding to get into this field? Aside from
It was actually such a simple thing. I actually walked up to my university, it's the one I was going to apply for, and I said, "Wow, I really like this place." It didn't have to do with school. It didn't have to do with cooking. It didn't have to do with anything. I just said, like, "Wow, I want to go to this school."
Which school was it?
Johnson and Wales.
Okay.
Which I then found out was like the worst school for cooking.
Why?
I went to the Culinary Institute of America, and we have a few jokes about Johnson and Wales students.
They always
Yeah.
make fun of us.
But yeah, I mean, it's still an accredited school in America.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I went for nutrition, and I chose that school because they had a better like bachelor's program than
Yeah.
CIA.
You started way earlier.
Yeah.
How old were you when you started?
I started when I was like 11. I was bussing tables at like just a local diner, and even from that age, you realize that there were things that they did in the restaurant that you shouldn't have done. Like they would
Like what?
save the buns that weren't eaten and use them again for the next
Oh.
table.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I worked in a catering hall when I was like 15 or 16 as a dishwasher.
Yeah.
So I did the same shit.
Yeah.
It's like
And then
some
moving to
fucked up things.
dishwasher.
You're just like, no.
It's always the start, and like for young cooks is dishwasher.
But I'm sure at 11 you didn't know this is what you want to do.
No, definitely not. And I've done a lot of what?
Your dad forced you. Like,
No.
Go get a fucking job.
The thing was, my dad used to make me work a lot in the house, so it's like I'd be mowing the lawn or pulling weeds or doing something
Yeah.
where it's like I had to work at home and like do chores.
Yeah.
And I figured out my older sister had a job and she always got out of doing the chores, so I was like, I gotta get a job. At least I can get
Otherwise,
paid.
You're like home slave, right?
Yeah.
But that forced you to work a
Like
lot.
Saturday morning, wake us up at 8 o'clock to go pull the weeds in the garden, and I'm like, which taught me a lot about hard work,
Yeah.
for sure. But I was like, I need to get paid for this because I want to buy things, whatever. And
Did you try to negotiate with father? Hey, just give me
yeah,
something.
he would. Yeah, he
You're
would.
like,
Pay me.
nah.
No. He's like, always says something like putting a roof over your head or feeding you or things like that. It's like, yeah,
Putting food on the table. Don't tell me to pay you.
Yeah, exactly. I guess I went for, there was another local restaurant in my town, and I just It was a nicer restaurant actually, and I just went up to them and kind of asked for a job,
Yeah.
for a dishwasher, and they actually talked to, like, I was young, right, and they talked to my parents first, and they asked what my grades were. So, like, to make sure, like, they were like, we don't want you to work here if you're getting bad grades or things like that. So it was really nice of them to do that.
That's good.
I started there, and then I went to another job, but when you're there as a dishwasher, you're not always you're as busy as the chefs, so you have time to
Help
peel
the chef.
potatoes,
Yeah.
or then you start like dropping stuff in the French fries down the fryer,
Yeah.
and you slowly start to becoming a cook, and then one cook leaves and they're shorthanded, and it's like all of a sudden you're now like the new guy, the
Put
new
in the
guy.
fries.
Yeah, it's like easy stuff that you learn pretty fast. I worked as a cook throughout high school,
Yeah.
and then but I always did other jobs. Like on the weekends, I was doing like landscaping. I did landscaping. I did construction. I was like hanging gutters on the sides
Wow.
of houses. I worked at UPS delivering packages. I did There was a lot of different things, but I always loved coming back and cooking in the restaurant. That was always like I hated like the morning job, but I always loved going to my night job, like doing like that.
From memory, you had to always have 2 jobs.
Yeah, I always had 2 jobs, and like in my
20
senior year in high school, like we had work release programs, so you only had to go for like 2 hours basically. So then I left and I went to work, and I was always working 2 jobs, and it's just like after you start making money, you realize like, well, I want to get, then I want to buy a new car, and I want to get new things.
Yeah.
When I was younger, it was like all my money went to my 4-wheeler at an ATV, and I was like racing 4-wheelers and dirt bikes around.
Yeah.
It's like, I get enough money, and I buy a new exhaust or new parts for it, and make it, But then just after that, I knew I needed to get out of my town. It's a small town, and you're not going to be successful there.
What was the name of the town?
Belvedere, New Jersey.
Okay.
But the restaurants in my town are like just small town
Yeah.
burgers
So you
and
measure
fries. From after moving out, I went to New York, and then moving around the States, and to Italy, and then. I think
Is
so.
it worth it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm still paying my school payments, but for me, I mean, I went after culinary school. I knew I wanted to be a chef, and then basically all my friends were going to bachelor's programs. So I was like, and I think I heard like the market wasn't that great. And then I guess I could have went out, but all my friends were doing it. I was kind of dating a girl, and she did it, and I was like, I might as well do it. And it's
like
better. Like I hardly thought I would even like graduate high school, let alone go to college and then get my bachelor's. So it was a really good experience. And then after that, like getting a job was like easy. It's like, oh, you graduated from CIA, and like there's no
Did you
way.
have that schooling?
Yeah, there's no way I would be where I am now if it wasn't for the school. And definitely not. I mean, I think you're not allowed to have a visa in Hong Kong unless you have schooling.
Of course,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if it wasn't for my school, I wouldn't be in Hong Kong.
You can't
And
just-
I'm extremely happy being here, and I love it here. So I'm glad I did that, and it would have been a way different route if I didn't do that. Maybe I never left the States.
First job out of school, I mean, him probably too. You work your ass off through school, right?
Yeah.
You work. I had 2 jobs in my junior and senior year. I was working for like an awesome chef, and one of them was back home, and I would go back home, go back to my life, Monday to Thursday, go to school, go back home 3 days, cook my ass off in the kitchen, and then after I graduated, I went back, worked full time at that restaurant. I took over the food truck, and then kept going, and then.
Oh, you get a food truck?
It's like this little like food truck. It was a Winnebago. You know what a Winnebago is? You know what a Winnebago is, right? Like those like shorter
I don't.
RVs.
Yeah, camper,
Like a
driving
camper.
camper.
Yeah. Like it looks like it's got a trailer like hooked onto a fucking flatbed. And the chef quit. Like middle of nowhere, just like the chef was like,
It
"Fuck
seems
this."
like everyone's stories is like somebody quit. You are
Yeah, I got like all of my career
That's my
stories,
story.
my
It's
career
like-
moves is like someone quit.
How old were you then?
22. and then he was like, the restaurant brought in 2 like celebrity chefs, right? I didn't like either of them. One was good when it came to technique, and he can actually bang shit out and like do things nicely, but he was an alcoholic and just did whatever the fuck he wanted to do. And then the other one was just an alcoholic. Period.
I mean, who's not? Right? I mean, at the era that where we were learning,
But yeah,
I
but
think
they
most
were
of chefs are fucking alcoholics.
How is it
Yeah,
now?
drunk
Let's
problem.
go back to the same question. I think like we spoke. With
I think chef got better in terms of how to separate their personal lives and work life.
Yeah.
Before it
Definitely
was
not
almost
like that.
together. It was immersed. Like you'll see
No,
still
me.
alcoholic chefs fucking drinking during service get fucking crazy. They'll
No,
like,
I know
burn
what-
with punch.
well, we used to
very
get, we used to get
close to-
fucked up.
Yeah, we just get fucked up. Like burn with the fucking pans, like fucking like fist bump or fucking kicking your shin and get fucked up. Like fucking people. Chef comes up to you and half as drunk and your meat is not ready or not proper. You'll grab that shit and spray all over your fucking station.
Yeah, it was screwed.
Like 5 minutes before fucking service. You have to clean everything down again, reset up everything. Otherwise you're fucked. Or you go home, right?
Yeah. I remember this specifically. This kid's running with his head cut off every fucking day. You know, every day he's sitting there. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And you're like, calm down. We're gonna get through this. Like, and then like chef walks in, you're just like, fuck.
I think that's what I heard from my chef when I first got here too. Like, you gotta calm down.
You gotta calm
This is not North America. Like
I see.
you gotta tone it down.
Yeah.
Like, cause I think in the States or North America, like you yell at cooks, they're ready to take the heat.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
They'll fucking sorry chef, and I'll fucking fix it. And then
Yeah.
discipline's there, so they understand you when they try to make a point.
Yeah.
But
They
here,
throw a pizza at you.
they're fucking yelling at the cook for shit that he did. It's like, oh, he just walks away. And my chef told me, go fucking grab him. I was like, but he did fucking shit wrong. Like he's the one who fucked it up, not me.
Yeah.
Well, why am I getting in trouble? Why am I saying sorry for this kid and fucking bring this kid back? Like, we don't have people.
Yeah.
They're wrong call.
Yeah.
Accept it. Like, bite it.
Yeah,
Don't
don't
like,
yell out there.
Yeah,
Walk
that's
out,
true,
and then you have no one, and then you're like,
Yeah.
then you're screwed for the next few weeks or months or whatever long. No, I think it's definitely changed. I think a lot of when I went back and I worked with in John George's restaurants for like one day, and I noticed that it's really hard to even find staff in some of like maybe like the really top like John George restaurant, but like the other ones, ABC,
Yeah.
they're the staffing they're using a lot of school students from even from the Philippines and from China and like students going to school. And so it's like more of a learning. Seems like more of a learning environment.
Now.
And yeah, I think it's also hard to find cooks as well, as in the States, as in Hong Kong. It's like everyone's constantly looking for cooks. Actually, at Mercado, we kept our staff for 2 years, which is kind of unheard of. Yeah, I mean, me and Lenny did it together. Yeah, so then
How do we tackle it, really? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it
good
was
cop, bad cop. A lot of that.
Oh,
Yeah.
sometimes, yeah, it was a lot of that. But yeah, I mean, we had stressful moments, but I think like we kept the team because we like with the schedules, like they made their own schedule, so that was really good. And
Staffed properly.
staff, like treating them properly, treating them with like we made staff breakfast in the morning and staff lunch, and most restaurants hard to even get like a lunch, you know.
Yeah.
So I think to properly feed them in the morning as well.
In the States, you're paid hourly. So if you don't want to fucking be there, go home. Like, literally, the chef will just come up to you and be like, you don't want to be here? Find someone to just to work, right? Here, you hire full-time employees.
Yeah.
Right? So you're thinking about benefits, you're thinking about days off, you're thinking about the hours that they contracted to work. And when you make that schedule, you have to think like, I can't make him work more than 12 hours a day. I can't make him work more than 10 hours a day. Because that's what his schedule, that's what his contract says. And if you fuck that up, right, then the company comes to you and be like, well, why are you doing that? And you're like, well, I have to do this, right? So these benefits, when you come into like work, and we created a schedule that would, yes, have somebody on the station closing every night. Have somebody in the morning opening every morning. Have somebody to make our fresh pasta. Have somebody to make a pastry, whatever it is. And we think about all these little things. All those details matter. And then obviously, when you think about the big picture, you have extra time, right? You always should have extra time because service should be nothing. Service should be no preparation. You just hang out and you get the service done, no matter how busy it is.
Yeah.
So that moment where you're like, okay, well, obviously I have a bunch of extra time. Why can't I make breakfast? Why can't I make a pizza at the end of the night and give it to the staff?
So my family's Italian, so is his, and like I think as that mentality as a chef is, you want to go back to your roots for anyone,
I would say as an American,
right? Korean chef. Yeah. Drink Korean.
You go back, yeah.
At some point, yeah.
It'd be really weird if a white guy was cooking Chinese food. Like,
You mean like
if I was
I
cooking
mean, nowadays it wouldn't be weird, but
yeah, but
back in the
it
days
wouldn't
it
be.
But did you know it was always going to be Italian food, or
no way.
No, I don't know. But I think that's what I wanted. I wanted to go back to my roots. So I wanted to, after graduating from college, moving around the States, I lived in Aspen, Colorado. I worked at a 5-star hotel. I moved to Napa Valley.
Yeah.
I worked at a Michelin star restaurant at night, and I worked at the Culinary Institute of America's
You're crazy.
campus
Yeah.
in the daytime doing special events. 202 jobs there as well. Then I moved to Cincinnati, Ohio. So in the end, I just bought a one-way plane ticket and didn't really have a job, didn't know what I was doing. A couple days before I left, someone told me about this site called Woofing. It's Worldwide Opportunities on Organic Farms. It's where you work on a property for room and board, basically, and help them out in the garden or somehow on their property and basically gaining experience, and you get to live for free.
Yeah.
So that's good. So I went to Rome. I stayed there for a week, and then I guess a couple days before I got to my job, because it was in Tuscany, they had fired the chef, and
Again.
yeah, again.
See?
It's like
Always making someone lose their job.
Yeah.
You're the guy. You're the guy.
I feel like I've been in the right place at the right time.
The way that he got that job was like,
It's
I was
Yeah.
like, I came there like, 9 months later, 6 months later.
So I get there and they're like, "You're a chef, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "We need help in the kitchen, like right now." Great. So it was good, and there was a couple cooks in there. They weren't really like amazing chefs. They were cooks. They didn't speak much English, so I learned a lot of my Italian. Just like the first words that was learned was like "cosa posso fare," which is like "how can I help?" And then going downstairs to like the walk-in and like bringing up vegetables and saying the name, and after 2 or 3 times, vegetables are pretty easy to learn now, but learning mostly cooking terms. But within at the end of like 3 months, they were like hiring for the executive chef to run the property, and the owner is actually from America, and he interviewed several other Italian chefs and myself, and he chose me. So and I was 22 years old, running a luxury property, like 17-room boutique hotel. So it was really awesome experience, and we grew all of our own produce. We raised our own animals for livestock. We raised our chickens for eggs. We had our own bees for honey.
Sounds like a fairy tale. Like
Yeah.
Hong Kong cooks like this.
Yeah. It's like
It
a
was
chef's,
really
a chef's
dream,
dream.
right?
Like we built our own flour. We grew our own wheat, milled our own flour. We had our own fruit trees. Like we made
See, that's why
everything
your
from
father
scratch.
makes you do that stuff, you know?
it all works.
And it was an organic farm too, so it was really awesome. And like other things that we get, we're on a hilltop town, so I could point like we get our rabbits from over here.
Did you
and
catch
we
that
get our
rabbit?
milk from here, yeah. We get like a wild boar. Like the hunters on the farm would like shoot them and just drop them off sometimes.
The pigeons too, right?
The guinea hens, and but it was a really great experience in that sense. And actually, the hotel has been expanding since then. When we were there, it wasn't really even online. It was kind of like hard to know about it. and then we put it online, and like TripAdvisor. I made an Instagram and Facebook and everything, and we became the #1 restaurant in Pisa area. So the #1, like the whole. Like, yeah, the whole area Pisa, so it's like a big, large area. We became the #1 restaurant, and then we became really busy. So my first year, it was just me and a dishwasher, and like I was like an unpaid helper.
Everybody,
No,
yeah.
it was like me, and then like in the daytime there was like the bread baker and like another prep cook, and that was it. And then some nights I cooked. Like we just did a 4-course menu that changed every day, and nobody showed up for dinner. So it was kind of heartbreaking a little bit. But after getting online and becoming the #1 restaurant, by the 3rd year, he came after the 1st year. By the 3rd year, we were like sold out every night, selling like 60 covers a night.
People were driving
Really
to see.
busy.
Wow.
Yeah,
It was crazy.
yeah,
We would walk in and we're like, how,
But
did,
the
how did
most-
you even find this fucking place?
yeah. Like
Like,
it's,
mostly
15
tourists
minutes
or-
down
it's in the kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Like,
too.
we don't know.
Well,
Right?
people want to get away. And
Yeah.
a
But I mean,
destination.
the locals also come as well, or
Yeah, some locals came, but a lot were tourists
Yeah.
traveling around because they use TripAdvisor and things like that.
Mm.
So that would be more of it. But
There was-
yeah,
there
I
was
mean, we
no,
grew
signs
from
on the
like
road or anything.
from me and like there was a couple of cooks. There was like 15 cooks or so when we left.
Yeah.
So
two. Oh,
yeah,
one. Technically
yeah,
one, right?
so,
Technically
yeah.
one becomes.
there was
two.
like the one girl with like big bread and one girl like they're all like part time. Like they worked like a couple hours, you know. Like
All guys that come and go, come and go.
yeah. So like she had like many different jobs. Like one had many different jobs. Like first thing is like bake the bread from like 6 to 10, and then like she did other and then she'd like go and like do laundry and like it was like a starting
Whole
out
farm
hotel.
thing,
Yeah. It was like thing, but. So after the 3 years, our restaurant closes for 3 months. So it closes for 3 months in the wintertime because no one really travels to Tuscany. So on the 3rd year, I went to New York City to work for the best Italian restaurant in New York. At the time, was what I thought was Maria, 2-star Michelin restaurant. Michael White, and
Oh, Michael White.
yeah,
It was definitely the best one.
yeah. I was either that or
What's the other one?
Is it more of a Italian one?
yeah, Vitale's.
What is that restaurant?
There was
Del
those
Posto.
Del Posto.
Del Posto.
Those are the two, and I was like looking at
Posto
them
was
very
not
hard,
bad.
and like looking at all their menus, looking at their pictures, and seeing like which one do I really want to think I can learn more. And then I called a friend and I was like, hey, can you get me a job here? Only for 3 months because I'm going to go back to Italy.
Yeah. After.
And I was like, oh, we don't really want to do that, but because of like your CV and we think that you can do well. It was like, then they hired me, and then after 2 months, Michael White we were at a Christmas party, and we were having a drink. He's like, hey, do you want to run my restaurant in Hong Kong? And I was like, no, why would I want to do that? I run a restaurant in Italy. And the next day at work, like the cooks, my team, like on Cold Kitchen, I was on Garmager, and they asked me like, "Oh, are you gonna take the job?" I thought he was kidding. I was like, "Why would Michael White want me to run his restaurant?" And a week later, I went back up to him and I was like, "Were you serious?" And then 10 days later, I was on a flight to Hong Kong.
That quick, eh?
Yeah.
That fast.
That's great.
What year was that?
2015, Chinese New Year, I landed.
Great day to celebrate.
Yeah, I landed in
2014?
2015. 15. So I'm coming up on 4 years.
Yeah.
This Chinese New Year. It was like February 18th. I landed 2015, and it was like Chinese New Year, and the restaurant's in Harbor City, like
Yeah.
on the view of like the island,
That's so different.
and the fireworks are there. So it's like, wow, my restaurant is amazing. Like it's in the most amazing location.
Transition.
Yeah, like, and I run this. It was great. It was really cool.
Anthony texted me, hey, I heard you want to go to Italy. Can I call you tomorrow at 11? And the next day I was going to like another restaurant to do some kind of beer dinner. And I was like mid beer dinner, and he calls me like he was not on time. You know, like he calls me. And I'm like in the
By
middle.
the way.
I'm in the middle of like a service at this point. It's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And he's like, so like, do you really want to come here? And like by the end of the conversation, we're like totally getting along. And I remember I'm sitting next to I'm like in the kitchen, like in the States when you walk out to go smoke a cigarette or you walk out to go do something, you're like sitting next to a garbage can. I'm sitting next to a dumpster talking to Anthony, and I'm like, yeah, it's a great idea. And I'm like, I can't believe it. Somebody wants to actually like help me to get to Italy, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Well, I
It was
was
like-
I'm not going to pay you.
No, you're not gonna pay me, but
I wasn't really getting paid my first year either, and
but it was the
But you
fact
guys
that
are
like,
Yeah.
bad anyway.
I didn't get paid my first year.
he's like, listen, you come here, you work, you can sleep here, you can eat here, you can basically do everything. Breakfast, lunch, dinner will be here,
But no pay.
but you can't get paid. And I'm like, I'm fresh out of college, and I'm thinking,
And in the middle of nowhere. It was
Well, the thing is,
I
they
see
have
where
It
you're
organic
sounds more
farm.
romantic as a chef though. Like when you were no seriously when you were like just out of school and when somebody said, "Oh, it's a farm work, bro," it's like beautiful. You get to
Yeah.
produce, you harvest your own vegetables, you get to feed the animals, you grow them, blah blah blah. I mean, when you spend more than a year there, of course, it drives you fucking crazy. But I mean,
yeah,
as a freshman chef, like
Sounds
you
exciting.
think it's like holy shit.
this
it's
is
like
real. Like you can
yeah,
actually
it's like
do
dream,
this.
like Wonderland, right? Like
You can really fucking do something that's so in touch with nature, right? And like realistically, you're not gonna make money, right? Okay, but how long can you do that? Which is what brought us to Hong Kong.
But, yeah, I think
money
that
in a bigger contract.
The experience of maybe you're not making money this year, but next year, like I think even 3 months after like working in Italy, and then you go back to America, and you go like,
Big
I was just
difference.
living in Italy. No, but you can say I was just living in Italy, and I was working here, and like as a sous chef or whatever, and
Yeah.
someone's like, wow, that's because it's so
Unique.
unique, exactly, for someone in America to actually leave America and then come back, and then I think even if I came back too, I'd probably hit some like press there, like he worked in Italy and then Hong Kong, and then yeah, no, I mean half of America doesn't have passports.
Yeah, but then for chefs though,
People,
like chefs tends to want to.
I don't know, I
you
mean,
no, I mean,
stage and all
let's
that.
talk about like typical American, like the people that we grew up with. Most of them are still living at home. Most of them, like I'd say, like 98% of them are living at home. Some of them even still with their parents. You know,
At what age?
30.
yeah, 30.
Okay.
I'm 28. You're 30, right? So, are you 31 yet?
31. 31.
So like,
He bought me this watch for my birthday.
so
welcome to the third
so like you have to think like their mentality is like you want to go on vacation. It's not let's go to Europe. Let's go to Hong Kong. Let's go to Asia. It's you want to go to the Bahamas. You want to go to Florida.
From
You want to
Mexico.
go to New Orleans. Like it's
Yeah.
not like
Cancun.
get out. Yeah, you want to go to Cancun. That's the
Like,
same
if-
shit
yeah,
every
same
single
shit, yeah,
time.
exactly.
It's always the same. They always like my friends always go to like, oh, we go to Cancun every year. I'm like, why? It's so boring.
Just go there. We drink with our boys. We fucking get fucked up. And that's it.
Maybe get killed.
I don't remember if we got killed that time, but like, we might have.
The culture out here, I think I love it. I fell in love with it too. Being able to be in Hong Kong and travel to
Different
Thailand,
parts of Asia.
Cambodia.
Once you
You
Yeah.
travel a lot. You
I
travel
travel
a
a
lot.
lot, yeah.
I think Anthony travels the most out of all the
Yeah.
chefs.
I don't think I'm going to travel as
because
much
you
as a new
can,
job.
why not?
Huh?
When you can, why not?
Of course. Yeah, why not, right?
Like if I had like 4 days off or 5 days off, I'm like, I'm going. Like 5 days off in a row, I'm going somewhere. I'm doing something. Usually diving or snowboarding. Like in Japan every year I was going. Diving, I've dove in like 5 or 6 different countries in Asia. So the restaurant closed in Italy. We both went to Maria in New York. I only stayed for 2 months and I came to Hong Kong. He didn't want to come. And then because I think it said something with his family going on. But then when I had the next opportunity with Mercato, I called him again. I said, "Do you want to come?" And he said, "Yeah." So like then it was like after work. Then he stayed at Maria for like 8 months or so.
Or
More?
10 months.
10 months.
Not that much, but
Yeah. But still, that's a long
Not
time.
from, like,
I
It's
think
a lot.
I don't know if you might have commented, but I mean, I have one friend who could. I always call up if there's something comes up. Like there's a buddy who always fucking been through this together. I think I don't have that many friends. Like especially, I think I only have one person like that who could. If I call him right now, he'll just like join me right away, or like vice versa, right? Yeah. I don't know. It's just amazing that you guys have this relationship.
and the first time he asked me, it was like it's not that I didn't want to come, and he knows that. 'Cause
Yeah.
in a heartbeat, I would come, but there were like my dad had cancer, and I was like, I want to be home for my family.
Okay,
You know,
of course,
I want
of
to be
course.
home.
Absolutely.
The second time he called, my dad was like, okay, and my dad was like, you better fucking go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be one and only chance too. Yeah.
Broke up with his girlfriend.
I had a Puerto Rican girlfriend.
Hey, bro, come to Asia, bro.
That's a good idea. We gotta get out of this somehow.
All right, side subject. Do you find you people find you more attractive here in Hong Kong or back at home?
For
Well,
me,
you said no relationship.
Questions. I say
Yeah.
attractiveness, not
Is
how
your
many girls you
attractiveness
with.
level bumps up?
Yeah,
let's end this on this. Ready? I'm more attractive in America. He's more attractive in Hong Kong.
Why is
What's
that?
that?
Why is that?
That's it.
Okay,
That's all you
alright,
need to
okay.
know.
I do have one good idea, I think, but this one is for more of what I think also is great in Hong Kong is like a more casual place. Like I don't want to do fine dining because it's more. You really got to be there all the time and make sure everything's perfect. And it's like attention to detail, and then like you'll have all these critics that come in. Like if you're trying to be a fine dining restaurant, and then you slip up every once in a while, and it's like
And
really
you're
like
really
really
downhill from there.
so that if more of a casual restaurant, like I'm thinking, like I want to open up a McDonald's and I want to be a freaking billionaire and put these restaurants all over. I mean, this guy already, right? You opened one, successful. Now how many? 3, right?
Yeah.
So that's the idea, actually. What you're doing.
See,
Is
this is the
doing
thing that
something
now
like
I want to get out of that thing. Now I want to jump back to. So now this is why I'm talking to Sean now because he's doing something interesting.
Yeah. So our other
And
friend,
something small.
Sean,
yeah.
he was doing something for
Corporate.
11 years, corporate for 11 years, and then he's leaving. Actually, I also was almost went to that place too. But I was going from one standalone restaurant to running one standalone restaurant. I took this job because I was running then more in a group that's expanding.
Yeah.
He was running in a corporate world, and now he's going to one standalone restaurant, which he's never really done before.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, don't do that. And he's like, but I've never done it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
like,
that's the chance.
Well, you can always go back.
And actually say it, exactly. So I could always go back to one restaurant if I want, anytime, and snap my fingers, you know? But, and he could probably always go back too, because he's been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
So it's really,
This is the chance.
it's an opportunity. And one of my mentors in the past, he had told me, whenever you have the opportunity to do something different, you should always try, like in the beginning, it's like, try like hotel, try events, try Michelin, try this, and try each thing, and then figure out which one you actually like. And I'm still doing that.
I mean,
I'm
know
only
you're
new
2 weeks
into
in,
yeah, it's 2 weeks into the new one, but I mean,
Did you guys
I
do,
think
like,
it's
fine
I
dining,
I like to like I've always wanted like a Michelin star in fine dining, but it is hard and it is a lot of time and attention to detail, which I do want to do. And we're doing it in Italy. I feel like we're doing like some really high class food.
It sounds like you guys did that. already.
But now I like it because it's like sometimes you get bored, right? You get bored at your restaurant. You're working at one restaurant. You're doing the same thing, and you get bored because it's like you're keeping the standards up and you're changing menus and doing things. But now I think with the new one is like I have this one that I'm trying to help, and then like a new Singapore Malaysian thing that I'm trying to like figure out and make better, and like I'll have another concept that I maybe to bounce around and just managing, I guess, the costs and the quality. And I think that's cooler in a sense. Like no one wants to be working on the line at 50 years old. You know, like
That's the other thing
Right.
when you're in this field and you kind of can foresee it.
yes, you do.
I
You
think-
miss it.
yeah,
You miss it.
I
But
think that's why, like, when you get older, like in terms of age, and you start to think about corporate world, which you kind of never thought about.
Yeah.
I think what interested in Hong Kong, I'm sure you guys find this same thing, because there's so many options here. Like in state, it's so hard to have. Even in Canada, it's so hard to find opportunity. If I'm cooking Italian food, I'm probably have to stick with Italian for the rest of my life, and then hopefully that works out well. But here, it's because there's so much things going on, different companies, different concepts, different restaurants, different restaurateurs, different groups. So I think chefs here are more open to different opportunities.
Bring up a family.
cheers
Because
again, guys.
They don't
Cheers
want to
again,
have a
guys.
family brought up here.
And thank you.